Hello, welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to learn about the Scramble for Africa. So, the term Scramble for Africa refers to the period in the late 19th and early 20th centuries when European countries competed to control African territories. And among them, Britain became one of the most powerful and ambitious empires. This expansion was not random. It was driven by economic needs, political competition, and strong beliefs about empire. Before the mid 19th century, most of Africa was not controlled by Europeans, except for a few coastal areas. But with the Industrial Revolution, European countries needed raw materials and new markets. This made Africa very important. To avoid conflict among themselves, European powers met at the Berlin Conference of 1884 and 85, and here they made rules for claiming African territories. And this conference officially started the race to control Africa. So now let us look at the British colonies in Africa. Britain gained control over many parts of Africa during this period. In North Africa, they had control over Egypt and Sudan. Egypt was very important because of the Suez Canal, and which was a key route to India. And in West Africa, Britain controlled regions like Nigeria and Gold Coast. In East Africa, it took over Kenya and Uganda. And in southern Africa, it controlled areas like South Africa and Zimbabwe. And these regions were rich in resources, which made them very valuable to Britain. And let us see what were the major reasons for British expansion in African continent. There were several reasons behind British expansion in Africa. First, economic interest. Britain needed raw materials for its industries and new markets to sell their goods. And second it is part of strategic reason. They wanted to control the places like Suez Canal. So controlling places like the Suez Canal helped protect their trade routes. And third, it's truly political rivalry. Britain wanted to stay ahead of other European powers like Germany and France. Also, many believed they had a duty to civilize Africa by spreading Christianity and Western education. That we all know that the white man's burden, civilizing the uncivilized people, and for them the uncivilized people were Afro-Asian people. Then explorers like David Livingstone and Henry Morton Stanley, they were also played an important role by exploring unknown regions. Then, what are the major impact of British rule in Africa? The British rule had a deep impact on Africa. Politically, traditional rulers lost their power and British officials took control. The boundaries were drawn without considering ethnic groups, which later caused conflict. And economically, Africa was used mainly to supply raw materials to Britain. Railways and ports were built, but mainly to transport resources. And culturally, English education and language spread, but local traditions were often ignored or weakened. So, while some development took place, it mainly benefited the British. Now, how can we conclude this topic? The scramble for Africa was a period of rapid European expansion where Britain played a leading role. Africa was divided among European powers without considering the needs of its people. And this led to long term political, economic, and social problems that continue even today.